Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be giving my full 2-week review on the Sony PS5 Dualsense Edge controller. I've been playing about 2 weeks of Call of Duty, Apex. I even played a little bit of God of War with it. So let's get down to what I did like and what I didn't like, if anything, of this new controller. So like I said, the two games that I've been playing the most were FPS games, was Call of Duty and Apex. And I really was only worried about Call of Duty because switching from my SCUF controller that I've been using for years and years and years, I was a little worried about performance and how maybe the controller felt compared to that one and how I played and basically how I performed while playing the game. And I didn't really give myself a chance to like warm up to it and play a few games to get used to it before I jumped into rank play or something serious like that. I plugged the controller in and I went straight into it. And for those of you that haven't watched my previous video, I kind of basically went through DSX and how I was able to use my paddles, because that is the main issue that I've had with this controller, is that the paddles didn't work on PC, and I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't think that the controller just came out like 2 weeks prior to me getting the controller, and I didn't really think about maybe the paddles not working, since I've had such good luck with the scuffs and I use DS4 Windows or stuff like that if I had an issue with any of the mapping or any of my buttons not working. But DS4 Windows does not work on the PS5 Dualsense Edge controller yet. So that's basically what my last video was. That's basically what my last video was, me explaining how to use it and how I went about it, and it's pretty much worked well for me. And I have it set up to open up every time I turn on my PC, so it's already there and ready, and all I have to do is plug into my controller and I'm ready to go. Now back to the review. This controller, after using it for about 2.5 weeks now, it's a solid controller. It's made well, and since it's a brand new controller, the thumbsticks are very, very nice. No issues with the dead zones, nothing like that. The paddles work nice. They don't feel too plasticky or too like stiff. And I have been breaking some of my paddles every once in a while on my SCUF controller, so I don't think I'm going to come to that. I don't think I'm ever going to have to replace any paddles on this controller. And everything just kind of feels nice. I would say if you have bigger hands and you don't enjoy the PS5 controller, this is only a slightly bigger controller than the standard stock PS5 controller, so it might take some getting used to if you have bigger hands. I kind of have bigger hands, but I was able to figure it out pretty quick and didn't really do any damage to like my wrist or anything. I didn't have to hold it any different or anything like that. But since there are those two types of paddles on the back here, you basically have two different options when holding your controller, and how you can hold it like this. You can hold it basically, once you get your hands on it, you'll be able to figure out pretty quickly which one you like. And even though I had to use this third-party app that I had to purchase to use the controller, PlayStation 5 controllers still are really good with input delay. There was 0 input delay on the PS5 controllers, and I know people have probably seen online where people were overclocking their controllers to make sure the input delay was as little as possible when switching from console to PC. Because unless it's an Xbox or a Microsoft controller, usually the input delay is going to be a little higher, since it's not the same brand. That's what I think. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go too deep into that. It doesn't really matter for this video. But I've been overclocking my controllers, and on this, basically, when I overclocked my PS5 controller, when I got it, it got me straight to a 0 input delay. So when it comes to input delay, this is probably the best one so far that I've used. I haven't used the new Xbox SCUF controllers or anything like that, or the new Xbox Elite 2 controller. I haven't tried that with anything input delay, but this one by far better than my SCUFs that I've used on my PC. The input delay is 0. So that's great. It might take some getting used to if you're going from a controller that wasn't overclocked with slightly more input delay. It might take some getting used to, but overall it'll be better off gaming wise. Another thing is with SCUF controllers, maybe after a month or so, you'll start to see any wear and tear. Like if you have DS4 Windows open, you'll start to see any dead zones. You'll start seeing your readings on your controller. I haven't seen any decline in my dead zones, anything on my joysticks, my buttons, my anything. Nothing stopped working. Everything still works great. Everything's still centered exactly where it needs to be on the joystick wise. So overall, it's in pretty good condition after maybe 4 or 5 hours sessions that I've done multiple times throughout the last couple weeks. The wear and tear is still pretty good. I seemed to tense my controller a little harder than probably most people, which is one of the issues that I've had with scuffs, where the wear and tear after a while which was slightly my fault, but that's not really important. But overall, I have great things to say about this controller, other than the fact that I had to download another app just to get me my paddles to be able to work. That is literally the only negative that I have now. And maybe I wish the shiny part wasn't shiny. I wish it was like kind of like the back part was glossy, because fingerprints and like maybe little hairs show up on it. And maybe if the controller was a little bulkier, that would probably benefit me, but that's on me thing only. But yeah, other than that, everything, the controllers worked out great. No complaints. Everything works fine. Everything's pretty smooth. Another great thing about being able to swap out the joysticks, if you ever have an issue with that, I never have to worry about the joysticks going out, or I never have to think to myself like, damn, I'm going to have to send the controller and get fixed because they offer separate joysticks for $20 that you can just replace on your own. So that's another huge positive. And unless I find anything else negative about this controller, that's really all I have. I would recommend buying this controller, and especially if you are an avid PS5 gamer. I don't play my PS5 as much as I want to. I haven't put it in my new setup yet. I need to put it for my third monitor so I can start playing games over there. I need to hook up my capture card, stuff like that, and then I'll start using this controller more on PS5 and maybe come out with more videos like that where I'm using it on my console. But so far, my PC review of using this controller on FPS games so far, and God of War, it didn't really matter. I just turned the trigger stops off back to normal. Controller still felt great. Everything was fine. I even used the paddles here and there, even though you don't really need to as much for non-FPS games and stuff like that. But there you go. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also check out my past video where I explained how to download DSX and use your paddles on Call of Duty and Apex and stuff like that, and any non-Steam game. But thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.